Llamas, guanacos and alpacas are inhabitants of the mountains of South America. These very distant relatives of camels have neither humps nor huge dimensions, but at the same time the elates look like some kind of an alien with their big intelligent eyes, fleshy lips and long necks. They look harmless, quiet animals, especially since local people centuries or even millennia ago domesticated some species of those herbivores and used them instead of horses. But do not underestimate them. These herbivores are nice fists. When this mountain lion attacked the guano, he immediately understood how wrong was his decision for a cat to be positioned on the nape of a victim. Neck is halfway to when is left to fill with the prey moved throat, and this is all. Can start eating as well. With that beginning in the battle versus the llama, the journey of cougar have just been. The herbivore seemed to burst with power and ferocity into the true rodeo starts. It seems that the puma is stunned at this turn of affairs. The guanaco triggered a little earthquake. Here it jumps from side to side, makes maximum jump altitude jump, sharp jerks. It seems like it consciously loses his balance in an attempt to regain balance on the last available moment, and the cougar was blew a little on its side. The herbivore pounces on the cougar many times with his own body, hits the predator so that it becomes a pity, and this is practically without the help of hooves. The cougar realizes too late that if it breaks, then such an aggressive animal will not just run away but trample it and crush its skull with its hoofs. It seems that the mountain lion is already in danger. We've got to pay tribute to him. He is also a seasoned mountain ranges inhabitant, hence the dangers notwithstanding. The cougar leaps onto the back of the victim over and over after each severe fall, but the elate is too strong. The guano throws off the exhausted predator and makes away from the case. However, this may not be every time. In case the cougar manages to get to the anglet trachea, it will surely overwhelm the victim, even 3 times bigger than itself. The first thing is to get her off balance. The birds that live in the mountains are among the strongest and most enduring in the world, and some of the biggest ones. Just look at how a mountain eagle attacks a goat that is several times more massive. This is the golden eagle, which is rightfully considered one of the most powerful birds in the world. They live up so high in the Rocky Mountains that there are almost no trees there. This allows golden eagles to use original hunting tactics because their victims have no natural cover. The birds attack the prey in low-level flight, knock it down with the blow, but do not finish it off during a struggle on the ground, but rise up with it into the sky to defeat such a serious opponent as a large owlet. For example, the bird throws its prey off of a cliff. After that, even if the owlet stays alive, it is not difficult for it to finish it off if it wasn't possible to drop into the abyss. Then the golden eagle can continue the attack on the ground. His own strength is enough to handle a young owlet even if it is much heavier. In some cases the golden eagle raises its prey really high, then all there remains is to let go, and gravity does the rest. But if the slope is gentle and the prey is especially heavy, the bird uses a different hunting tactic. It knocks the victim down, and together predator and prey they roll head over heels down the slope. During this the prey receives a lot of damage due to impacts on rocks, and at the same time the eagle constantly works with its claws, hits the back and head, targets the neck and paws. A golden eagle strike is a combination of the power of a ramming attack into penetrating stabbing wounds from its claws. It's hard to resist this due to the acceleration. The force of such an impact increases significantly and resembles a collision with a small car, and to the claws not only grabs steeper than the jaws of a bulldog but also cause damage to internal organs. With luck, the golden eagle can break the victim's neck or spine right during the first attack, and even if the victim avoids such damage, survives and continues to resist, she will constantly lose force because of wounds. The bird relies only at the final stage of preying, when all that remains is to kill the beaten and practically helpless prey. Though you should not think that this tactic brings 100% results. You've already seen that really cool animals live in the mountains, and the herbivores here are not nearly as timid as they are in the backcountry. When this golden eagle resolved to dash down a mountain goat and pull it across jagged rocks, he did not realize with whom he was tangling. The ewe proved to be much too agile. It crashed but could utilize its motion to scramble to its hooves. The golden eagle did not throw in the towel yet. This is a battle of worthy opponents. The huge bird uses its wings as a balance beam to get on top. Every single time she threw the enemy into the ground, again and again they fell tumbled. The goat received blow after blow but at the same time managed not to only save his life and whole limbs but to also crash the bird several times. For all its size, the golden eagle is much lighter than a goat. At this speed, the owlet almost crushed the golden eagle several times. The bird is in shock. 1 minute she's on top clutching the enemy's back with her claws, and suddenly he falls on her, presses down with his whole carcass, and then turns over and hits his head on a stone. It could not have lasted long, but the goat was saved by its cunning. He timed the moment correctly and allowed the golden eagle to go above him so that on the same move the next somersault he would collide with the head of the bird on a rock and then toss it back there with his body. Amazingly, it so happens that the golden eagle is still in one piece. The prey manages to escape, and it wasn't worth troubling for such a genius and heroic mountain goat. Are the might and wingspread of the golden eagle tremendous? Then you shall be even more shocked by this mountain bird. This Indian condor is the largest flying bird in the modern world. The wingspan of this feathered monster is over 10 feet long. For birds that fly really well, this is an absolute record. There are streets in the world narrower than the wingspan of a condor. The shadow from the wings of this bird can really cover up a car, and when a condor is on the ground its head is about the same height as a human. At the same time, the Andean condor is also the heaviest bird capable of staying in the air for a long time. Although some swans and bustards may be heavier, they do not really fly very well, but the Andean condor on the contrary spends most of its life in the air. At the same time, to save energy, he plans more often than he actively moves his wing. To move the shape of these wings is ideal for planning wide, powerful, straight with an expanding silhouette into large flight feathers. Such wings perfectly catch airflows. A condor can spend hours without making a single flap of its wings. It feels the wind so well. On the other hand, the huge mass for a bird and powerful but devoid of aerodynamic advantages wings describe the condor of speed. However, he does not need to move quickly. The condor usually needs and carrying, which he looks out for on long trips over the Andes. The golden eagle gets lost next to the condor somehow, doesn't it? At the same time, you should not consider the condor just a scavenger. This bird is a great fighter, too heavy for active hunting. However, it often engages in slides with terrestrial predators just to take away their prey. Do you see this giant? It's just a condor chick in front of you. There are cases in which a condor attacks a cougar and took away its freshly caught lunch. Wouldn't you agree that attacking a mountain lion to recapture its prey is a real feat? Even bears don't dare to do this, but the condor doesn't care. When his wings cover the valley, the animals can only run in different directions. When photos of this previously little-known cat began to appear on the internet more and more often, it caused the fur is cute, the size of the domestic cat, but very fluffy, long-haired, with huge ears, expressive, curious size, and muscular hard paws with large bare pads that hold a rounded body above the ground. Theories have arisen that a new breed of domestic cats has appeared, but then it became obvious that nope, this is not a pet but a ninja cat who is a wild hunter. And do not underestimate this monster. In front of you is one of the most bloodthirsty, cruel, and strong representatives of small cats, and although he usually hunts small prey like rodents, even an MMA veteran would envy his combat experience. And all of this is because of the very specific behavior Mono almost never retrieves from danger and prefers an honest fight to flight. Although Mono himself does not like to be the first to start a fight with the larger opponent, in case of danger he doesn't really run away but relies on disguise. Its long coat makes the Manu almost invisible in the rocks, surrounded by rock sledges into gray sands. Therefore, if there is an enemy nearby, the Manu freezes, but if the opponent turned out to be attentive and noticed the Manu, the cat still does not run, it fights. So reports that the Manu is a breed of domestic cat are wrong. The aggressive, unsociable, and introverted nature of this cat makes it absolutely unsuitable for keeping at home. The Manu is not tamed. The cat's fighting tactics are special. If many other predators do everything they can to protect their stomachs, then the Manu, on the contrary, lies down directly on back. But this is not a clever maneuver. Everything is simpler in this position. The Manu can fight with all four paws at once. The enemy will regret getting involved with this mountain cat. Manu will use his claws to literally tear apart the opponent. There are no evasion tricks and delicate maneuvers, only suffering awaits this enemy. If the Manu is angered, he will want to inflict maximum pain on the enemy. Manu's claws cannot cause fatal damage to large enemies, but damage his soft tissues, opening up muscles and skin, weaken, and will make Any opponent's cool hazarder at the same time Manu does not seem to know when to stop street if the enemy is already ready to retreat. It seems to only provoke the cat which was just defending itself a couple of minutes ago. The Manu will crush the enemy, bring him to a stampede, and also add Fang to his arsenal. In terms of rage, only a honey badger or wolverine can be compared to a Minol. However, who knows, perhaps these robbers are lucky that their habitat does not tally with the places of a Manu's life. When the CR bit the elephant's trunk, he clearly did not know that he was making the biggest mistake of his life. The enraged giant picked up the reptile and hit it on the surface of the water, and then he started trampling. One of the most epic battles involving rhinos that caught the camera lens ever. These lions decided to attack a heavyweight that could reach a weight of about 3 tons, and it must be admitted that the predators took the matter seriously. They assembled a combat group of experienced and seasoned hunters. Numerical superiority could help the lionesses deal with another rhinoceros, but not with this particular individual, which turned out to be much more daring than the predators thought. The lionesses circled next to the rhinoceros and deliberately exhausted it. They squeezed the ring, swooped in on the enemy, attacked him again and again, but simultaneously carefully immediately retreating when the enraged beast started to fight back. Experienced hunters wished to make a massive enemy chase them, then the rhinoceros would get tired, run out of strength, and go on the defensive. That would be the end of the battle. No matter how strong the armor is, if you do not strike the enemy in response, sooner or later he will achieve his goal. Apparently the rhinoceros understood this. Pay attention to his endurance. He furiously attacks the lionesses but does not allow himself to be carried away. Stop as soon as he realizes that he will not reach his enemies at all. He doesn't panic, he doesn't fuss. Every punch and throw is verified. The rhinoceros pays attention only to those lionesses who come close enough to attack and does not pay attention to the environment at all. No fuss. This is what saves the giant. Although he does not have a sharp horn, his ramming blow can break all the ribs of a lioness and crumple internal organs into a cake. When the hunter realizes that the rhinoceros is getting closer to them and the hunter were themselves begin to get tired, they have to retreat. The rhinoceros withstood the siege of an entire pride of lions, and he probably remembered these cats. Look at how another family of rhinos attacked a lion peacefully resting after lunch. Probably experienced herbivores know who they are dealing with and want to drive predators away. The lions needlessly angered such opponents. When the seagull managed to find a group of emperor penguin chicks that had strayed from adults, it was a real feast for the bird of prey. This chick is very, very large, probably much larger than the predator itself, but it's very much practically helpless, as they huddle together and try to cover each other up. But the heart of this seagull is as cold as the climate in Antarctica. A ruthless bird of prey attacks the chicks, swoops on them and grabs one of them with the strong beak. The massive chick resists but is unable to give a decent rebuff due to the strength, and there are adult emperor penguins nearby. They were all in the sea hunting fish. The chick has no chance, but not all heroes. Where the baby penguin had passed by Cape just off to the left. Look at his such a humorous feather little baby with an elongated beak and round eyes. Even an adult penguin is smaller than a baby emperor penguin. That's just the brave heart beating in the baby's body, and the adults hate the Pomeranians, so the penguin bravely rushes at the seagull and takes away its prey. The Pomeranian is stunned. Wolves are one of the most effective predators. Each animal alone has great strength and developed hunting skills, and teamwork increases the chances of catching prey. Even more, if 3 wolves can take down a huge deer or even an elf, then how can an ordinary otter give them at least some resistance? It turns out it can. The predators clearly underestimated this incredibly agile opponent. The otter was far from the water, not in a winning position at all, but she does not give up. It desperately resists thanks to its amazing flexibility. Each time when wolf tries to grab otter, he twists and holds strongly, using small butt-point fangs against his enemy at right an otter's sensible nose. It turned up several times immediately when a wolf attacks an otter. The rest of the wolves trying to reach it from several sides, extend and stretch him literally in rags while ripping apart this one. Unfortunately for them, That otter came out way too agile as well as elastic than some sort of snake. She evaded each toss in the run, ran at lightning speed and appeared to flow between the enemy's paws like a living fluid. A few degrees more deft predators would have gained on the otter, but the clever animal knew where it was running to escape in the instant before the enemy's fangs snapped shut over its throat. The otter dove down into a deep snow hole that then proved to be suitable for a small animal but too narrow for wolves, and in South America there are giant otter that are capable of even more impressive feats. For example, here the otter gave battle to the jaguar, but this is the largest predatory cat of the New World and the third largest panther in the world, but the otter were acting too smoothly against one. The jaguar would have been easily emerged victorious, but the whole pack was able to show the spotted aggressor that they should not have to be messed with. A large otter the length of a lynx's body, armed with very sharp teeth and great speed, is able to pat its very beautiful age. The jaguars understand this. He tries to intimidate the pack so that he can rush into the water and attack one of them, snatch it out and take it to the land, but the otter are fighting back against the jaguar in real formation. He realizes that if he throws himself into the water, several otter will immediately attack him from all sides and drown him, and the jaguar retreats, and even one giant otter can overcome a small anaconda. Still, dexterity and resourceful has played no less of a role for animals in combat than straightforward physical strength. These young cheetah don't know who they're messing with just yet. Neither two of them nor even five of them would have defeated an adult rhinoceros, which can easily turn over a car with a couple of powerful blows of its horn. But the young predators do not understand which Terminator is in front of them. Well, okay, they'll understand now. The rhinoceros is even slightly surprised by the imp students of cats and will gladly teach them a lesson. Just now he was a slow, almost motionless hulk that gave the impression of sleeping into too heavy monster. The cheetah thought that they could sneak up and pounce and bite into his throat. They turned out that this small mountain not only has legs but is also able to move them very well. The rhinoceros took such acceleration from the spot like a knight's horse and went to a similar ram attack to sweep the predators out of the way. The rhino doesn't even seem to be trying to finish them off. If they get under their feet, he shall break all their bones. And if they luck out, it is also beneficial. They'll realize who to play nice. Savannah. The mountain lion line is a line of deadly and harsh predation for the New World, although that belongs to smaller cats based on the architecture of the laryngeal prominence of the larynx. Still, it is higher than even leopard in terms of size. When the guanaco of the mountain lion noticed its bounce, it already was too late to evade, and the predator managed to climb on the back of the owlet, and the herbivore's problems did not end there. It appeared that this is a sated female who prepares teenage kittens. They have poor experience, but they already possess strength. The guanaco was surrounded by 4 predators. What should I do in this situation? Well, for the people of the prairies, the answer is obvious: to make a rodeo. The guanaco only seems clumsy because of its long neck and slender legs combined with the barrel-shaped torso. In fact, this horse has incredible endurance and knows how to keep a furious pace. The cougar is in shock. She didn't know who she was messing with. Her kittens are trying to come to the rescue, but they only risk getting hooves on the head in vain. Just wait a minute. It seems that we don't know what kind of rhythm the guanano has got. Yes, this is a real redneck dance to such a groovy rhythm. The guanano famously throws the cougar off its back and literally jumps out of the paws of 3 of its kittens. Just look at how well the predators work. The life of the guano hangs in the balance, but its speed and reaction saved the elch, which managed to gain speed and break away from the mountain lions.